Well, hello, and welcome back to another podcast episode with Brittney Bundles. You are listening to the Brittney Bundles podcast, where we empower people through entrepreneurship. And oh my goodness, welcome back to myself and to you all. I have not recorded a new podcast episode in some time, but I have been uploading on my channels. So if you ever want to get more information regarding like business strategies or insight or even watch business vlogs, you can also always do that on my YouTube channel at Brittney Bundles. I since then have created a second YouTube channel just going over some real estate insights and blogging my real estate journey as well. For those of you that don't know, I am a serial entrepreneur, so I'm always doing multiple things at once and I enjoy it. So I like to vlog my experiences. So you can always check me out on YouTube at Brittney Bundles on that channel, and then also on Real Estate Brittney for my real estate content. But today I just want to say I'm so happy to be back. I missed recording content on the podcast platform. Still not very sure which platform I'm going to be uploading my podcast episodes to besides YouTube. So just stick around for that. But today I'm coming to you all because I want to talk about um, why customers leave and how to get them back. Okay. This is really important. In my last YouTube video, I went over the fact that a big part of me getting to my first $1,000 when I first started selling hair is because I understood the importance of building relationships with my customers and clients. I understood that repeat business was a huge portion of my business. And the longer that I stayed in business, the more I was able to see just how building relationships and maintaining those relationships impacted my business in a positive way. So I wanted to make a podcast episode about that. I think so many people overlook the importance of relationship building, which we talk about a lot on this podcast, but also overlook the importance of having consistent repeat business, because a lot of times, even for me, when I'm not marketing that much and I'm still getting orders and I'm still getting inquiries and I'm still getting traffic to my website, a lot of times these are people that have already worked with me. These are people that have already reached out and asked a question before. And so I'm not saying don't market to new people, but there should be a good balance. Some entrepreneurs focus just on getting new clients. And although that's a great practice to have, getting new clients, it's a better practice to have to get clients and also retain the ones that you currently have so that you can efficiently build your business. So before we get into the podcast, I'm going to ask that you all share it. Sharing helps boost the podcast. It helps the algorithm. It also helps share and spread awareness for previous entrepreneurs and businesses that have been featured on this podcast. So if you are for the entrepreneurial community, I'm just asking for you to share it. Let's spread the word. Let's bring more people into the community, and let's get the businesses that have been on this podcast more support. You can share the podcast by turning on the podcast in the car while you're riding with a family member or a friend. You can share it by just sharing the link in a text message or sharing it on social media. You can also share by word of mouth, just explaining to someone that, hey, I've tuned into the Brittney Bundles podcast and they have this type of content going on over there. You may be interested, check it out. So however you want to get creative and share it, I really appreciate it. Please do so. And I'll give you a few moments to share, and I'll be right back so we can get started with the next episode. All right. Okay, so we are back. Thank you so much for sharing the podcast. I truly appreciate it. And today's episode is going to be, like I mentioned, all about something that a lot of entrepreneurs face: losing customers. Okay, whether it's a sudden drop in sales or a loyal client who stops showing up, a lot of us have been there. But the good news is there's often a way to bring them back. So let's talk about why, and more importantly, how. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing that I want to go over is inconsistent experience. This could be why some customers leave. Okay, because they're not receiving consistency. Consistency is so important in building any relationship. Okay, and the reason that I talk a lot about relationships is because business is strongly connected to relationships with people. And so once you understand the fundamentals, once I understood the fundamentals of working with people, then a lot of things in my business became easier. So, just to elaborate a little bit more on inconsistent experience, if your quality, if your communication, your brand exposure changes up too often, customers may lose trust. So, let me just kind of give you all an example. Let's say that when you first start your hair business, you're using a certain hair vendor, and this hair vendor has good quality hair. Every time that you receive your order from them, it's consistent, the quality is there. When people are placing orders and you're shipping out the hair, people are, happy with the quality, but you're receiving some feedback, and it's a little bit of mixed feedback. People are saying that they enjoy the quality, but some people are saying, hey, I can find the hair cheaper over here. Or, hey, I went to my beauty supply store because it's less expensive, right? And so you're in this position where you're like, okay, I could lower my prices, and I can do that by switching my vendors. So you switch your vendors, you find another vendor that has good quality hair for the first shipment. Everything's good, everything checks out. It's very close to your, your first vendor. No complaints. People are still enjoying the hair. And then you get another order in from that company and you realize that the order is a little bit off. The quality doesn't feel the same. It doesn't look the same. You reach out to the vendor. They're not willing to give you a credit, or they're not willing to exchange any of the bundles. You're not getting any refunds, nothing like that. No credits towards your next purchases. They're like, no, this is what you ordered and this is what we send. And so you're selling the hair and people are enjoying the prices, but they're not enjoying the quality anymore. They're like, well, I'm not happy with my order. My order this time wasn't the same as last time. And so being inconsistent, changing up your vendors too often, changing up your branding presence too often, changing up your customer service level and expectation too often can have customers leave your business. People like to know what to expect, okay, in any type of industry. Think about it. When I get out today, I'm probably going to go to Starbucks and I know what kind of service to expect when I go to Starbucks. And then I would probably go to Chick-fil-A, okay? I know what type of service to expect at Chick-fil-A. Now, there are some other restaurants, and I'm not going to mention, some other fast food places, I should say, where I don't know what I'm going to expect. I mean, it all depends on who's there and how they're feeling that day. And so because of that, some days I just don't feel like dealing with it. I don't know if my food's going to be made right. I don't know if it's going to, come out fresh. I don't know if I'm going to be greeted with an attitude. I don't know, so I don't like shopping there. So when I say that consistency is it's the foundation, it's the driving force behind your brand. It truly is. People want to know this is what I'm going to receive when I work with this person. Just because someone isn't okay with your price doesn't mean that you have to change up your vendor. And I'm saying that because I'm sure it resonates with someone. I work with entrepreneurs very frequently on a daily basis, just about. And so many people have expressed that they have tried to change their vendor and they've tried to change their pricing in order to keep customers. And really, it ends up, they end up losing customers. And, you're thinking to yourself, well, how? I lowered my pricing because there's nothing wrong with looking for vendors that are going to be more cost effective, but you want to make sure that you're also getting the quality that your business has a reputation for. And if you don't have a reputation yet, you want to make sure that you're very cognizant, you're very intentional about the type of reputation around quality that your brand is building. Because as much as people say, hey, I don't want to pay this, a lot of people will pay if they know what they're going to receive. For example, I don't want to pay for how much it costs for an iPhone charger. I don't, but I will because I know the value in it. I'm going to go and buy a charger at Best Buy before I'll go and buy a charger at my gas station. I don't want to pay the price difference, but I will. I was talking to a friend a little while ago, and we were talking about car parts and talking about, how you can get car parts cheaper elsewhere. And that's true. But I would rather pay the difference and get, if I can, my car part from a dealer or, just a reputable source than an online website that I really don't know much about. Just because I would like the warranty that would come with it. I would like the back satisfaction guarantee. There's just some benefits that come along with paying more sometimes. So even if people don't like paying it, a lot of times customers will still stay. Even I'm looking at a bag that I purchased years ago, great investment from Louis Vuitton. I did not like paying that price, but I'll tell you, I like the fact that the quality of the bag holds up. It holds up. I've been wearing that bag for 4 years. And although, it's not in prestige condition, it's still a great bag. So you kind of have to leverage that, and you have to learn to sell on the value of what you're offering. Even consistency is value over price. Okay. Another reason why you may lose customers is lack of communication and engagement. So customers want to feel seen. If they don't feel a part of your brand journey, they'll go where they feel valued. So accept feedback, right? We're still on the same example about pricing. Accept feedback. You may want to do certain discounts. You may want to do certain flash sales. You may want to offer different bundling options where if some of your customers purchase X amount of bundles, they'll get a percentage off their order. So you want to, become creative and listen to feedback, but ultimately you have to take the feedback and you have to take the analytic portion of your website and also your goals, and you have to make decisions as the business owner. What's going to work best for your business? What's going to work best for your customers? Because one thing that a lot of people don't think about is, we're on the same example with pricing. They don't think about how catering to a request can possibly disservice other customers. What I mean by that, let's say that you switched your vendor. Okay, a disservice to other customers that were willing to pay the price and that were paying the price could be now they have a change in quality because someone else didn't like the price. Or now they're having to wait longer for shipping times because this vendor doesn't ship as fast, but they're cheaper. Now they're, I don't know, what else? They're not receiving as prompt communication because when you're reaching out to this vendor to ask questions, they're not getting back to you quickly. And so it's delaying how you can answer your customers' questions effectively. So you have to look at how everything you do impacts your business and your customers. And then the biggest impact that a lot of people see is by making price cuts and taking a loss financially with their business ends up putting them out of business. So now no customers get to receive the service, the quality, the product, and their mission is no longer able to be fulfilled through that business because it's no longer in service. They were priced out of business. So it's very important to think about not just what today's action will bring, but ultimately, what's the ripple effect of me implementing these changes? Another way that you can help your customers feel seen is by doing polls, is by following up via email, is by following up via text, asking them how they feel about their service, asking them how they felt about their product, asking them for testimonials. Sometimes you won't get testimonials unless you ask. And even if you ask, you still won't get them. A lot of people don't like leaving testimonials. A lot of people don't like leaving their face for like selfies and things like that. But there are some people that will. And if I could go back in some years earlier in my business, I would have asked for reviews a lot more. I used to be really good about that. And then I kind of just stopped asking and just continued to serve my customers and clients. But that's something that you want to continue to do. Okay. So I'm just speaking from my experience. I wish I wouldn't have stopped the momentum with that. And so if you are someone looking at how to build your business, that is a way that can also not only help your customers feel valued, but also put credibility into your business. Another reason why customers may leave is because of poor follow-up or customer service. And like I mentioned, follow up with your customers, reach out via email, see how they're liking your product or service, have a relationship, start communication between your customers and yourself, be available in your chat inbox. If they're chatting a question, make sure that you're there to acknowledge the chat and acknowledge their question. And then for customer service is very important. And good customer service looks different for everybody. But ultimately, just making sure that you're able to hear and understand where your customers are coming from, and you're able to effectively deliver with respect, with patience, and with understanding, understanding what they're needing, what they're asking, and you being the expert able to let them know, hey, based on what you told me, this is what I recommend you get because of this. Okay. And then this is what I can do to help this problem. Being an entrepreneur, you're a big problem solver. That is our goal. That is our hat. That is what we do. We solve problems that have that are here, and we solve problems before they even arise. Okay. Another reason why people may leave is because of pricing, like I touched on a little bit ago. Okay. Pricing without value clarity. So it's not that people always even want cheap. Okay. But they want clear value. That's why I've mentioned sell on the value. If you're charging premium, make sure your message matches. So when you're pricing your products, not only should you price based on what you're looking to get in profit and what you're looking to get to keep your business running, but you want to take into consideration how much you're charging and also what type of quality they're getting for that, right? I just gave an example about Starbucks. There are some other fast food places that I don't know. I don't know how the food's going to taste once I get it. Sometimes I go there and the food's great. Or sometimes I go there and the coffee's good in the morning. Other times it's not. It's horrible. Sometimes I go there and I'm greeted with a smile. Other times I'm not. I'm greeted with attitude. So I don't know. But I know at Starbucks, it's pretty consistent. Like I've never had a horrible experience at Starbucks. And I pay, Starbucks, in my opinion, isn't cheap for coffee. So it's not that, it's not that I enjoy paying a higher price for a cup of coffee. It's that I enjoy the value and consistency that Starbucks provides. So I'll go to Starbucks over another place that's cheaper because Starbucks is offering better quality. And I could guarantee if I had an issue with Starbucks, they would be quicker to resolve it than another place that doesn't offer consistent quality. So make sure that when you're pricing your products, you let people know what they're getting through how they're getting treated. Let the experience speak for itself because people will pay for experience. They will pay for quality. They will pay if they feel like they're receiving the value that they'd anticipated or if the value exceeds their expectation. Another reason why you may lose customers is because of life changes. Sometimes it's nothing that you did. Sometimes it's nothing against your business. There's nothing that you could have done better. It's just people move. People, experience different changes in their life, their income, what they are needing at the moment. Some people have changed. If you're in the hair industry, their hair types and styles. For me, I don't wear hair extensions. I wear my locks now. So, if I was purchasing hair for myself to wear and, I just stopped purchasing and the company reached out, hey, what's wrong? Why aren't you purchasing with us anymore? I wouldn't have anything wrong necessarily to say about the business. It was just, hey, it's a personal decision. I'm now wearing a different style. And so I don't purchase extensions for me to wear. Okay, so just remember that it's not always personal, but it doesn't hurt to reach out and ask just to get a gauge of if there is something that could have been done better on your end, or if there's something that can be done at this point on your end to regain their business. Okay, so you might have done everything right, but still lost a customer. It's okay. What matters is how we respond to that. How do we get our customers back? Okay, so number one, okay, we can reach out intentionally. So you can send a "we miss you" email or text message or DM. Just figuring out, where they are, how they're doing, and how you can serve them, what they need. If they have any questions. People have signed up for drop shipping through my hair company at badchickhair.com. I've been offering drop shipping services for years for those who are interested in starting their hair business. And so even people that do drop shipping, I'll reach out occasionally and say, hey, I noticed that you didn't renew your membership after the 3 months or after your quarter expired. I just wanted to remind you that your membership has expired and see if you'd like to take care of that now. How's everything going with your business? Do you have any questions I can assist with? Just different things like that. You can be creative with how you reach out, and based on your relationship with that client, you can reach out accordingly. I'm not going to reach out in the same way or maybe start the email in the same way that I would a customer that just started last month versus a customer that has been mine for like 4 years. So you kind of want to be creative with how you reach out and tailor your response to that specific customer. If you don't have time to do that, that's fine too. You can send a generic email to everyone, just like a "We Miss You" newsletter, and see what kind of engagement you get from that as well. You can also create a win back offer. So, like designing a specific deal or a bonus for returning customers. You can also personalize it on what they used to buy. So, like sending out another email, for an example, and offering a discount for those that, let's say, their dropshipping membership lapsed, offering a discount to renew. If you're reaching out to customers that typically purchase products from you and they haven't purchased any products, kind of doing the same thing, reaching out and offering them a discount if they come back. You can also show them that you've grown. So, sending out notification that this has updated, or you've added more products or services. You've become more efficient in this area. Maybe your shipping times are better. Maybe you no longer charge a shipping fee. Maybe you've added additional products. Whatever that may be, let them know that. You can also be more consistent and engaged. So, not necessarily posting discounts all the time or posting pictures of your products, but sometimes posting polls, sometimes just going in your comments and responding back and starting conversations, not forgetting that relationship piece. So still being your entrepreneurial self, but less salesy, more relational. And then you can also ask for feedback without ego. Sometimes it does hurt to hear where we have fallen short, but honest feedback is a gift. We really need to use it to improve. So, like I've been saying throughout this whole podcast, just really asking for feedback, reaching out, making sure that everything's okay, seeing what you can do to improve the customer experience is really going to help. I once had a client who stopped ordering without telling me. I mean, she didn't say anything was wrong, or she just stopped ordering. I did follow up a few months later, and she told me that she loved the Brazilian body wave. She still enjoyed the hair texture. She was just too busy for small orders. Um, and so at that point, I was able to offer her wholesale. Now, I didn't think initially to offer her wholesale because she didn't have a salon, she didn't have a business. She was just purchasing very frequently, like Brazilian body wave bundles. Not very frequently, but she would purchase like every 7 or so months. And she did that consistently for a few years, and then she just stopped. And I'm like, hey, what happened? And so that's when she explained, I just don't have time to place orders sometimes I forget. My life is just busy. And I understood that. So I did offer her to purchase in bulk wholesale and let her know the benefits of her receiving a discount, because if you're purchasing over 10 bundles, you receive a discount. Like the more hair you're buying, the cheaper you're going to, the cheaper the order will be. And so she actually liked that idea. And so she would place wholesale orders, not for the same reasons that majority of my clients would purchase wholesale orders. She wasn't reselling, but she would just have the hair on hand. And so just figuring out, like I said, asking for feedback. Sometimes you may be like, man, like, how can I fix this? But if you think about it, like, set the expectation that your replies are going to be within 24 to 48 hours. Pray on it, think about it. A lot of times for me, God has put the answer in my mind. Like, this is how we're going to solve it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. It was so simple, but it was something I didn't think about initially until I really had time to sit back and think about it. So even if you do all that and you're like, hey, what if I do all this and they still don't come back? Just a reminder that not everyone will come back, okay? And that's fine. Learn and grow from the experiences, and just remember that you can always gain new customers and clients. We just want to become better so that we can retain them, okay? We're going to still attract new people. We're just going to do better with retaining them, understanding that not everyone can be retained, but we're going to do what we can do, okay? So in closing, just a few takeaways for today's podcast. Customer loss is a part of business. Okay, it is a part of business, but we can learn how to reduce it, and we can also learn from it to grow our business. We can continuously reach out, improve, and never take it personally. Unless it is personal, we do need to do some adjustments. Maybe we weren't as friendly or helpful with our customer service experience as we needed to be. And at that point, we can apologize, we can grow, learn from it, and not repeat those actions again. And it can help our business in the future with how we interact with people. We can also focus on connection, not just conversion. So just not being so salesy, but really being relational and trying to build that foundation between the customer and you. So if this episode helped, I really hope that it did. Don't forget to share it again with another entrepreneur. And if you've ever won a customer back, please leave a comment down below. Tell us how. How did you win your customers back? Okay, let's inspire each other. I do want to thank you all for tuning into the Brittney Bundles podcast. If you are not following already, please do so. You can follow the podcast on YouTube, on my YouTube channel at Brittney Bundles. There is a podcast section. So you just go to my YouTube, again, Brittney Bundles, Brittney Bundles, Bundles, and then you just click on podcast. You can also follow the podcast on Instagram. It's at Brittney Bundles _podcast. And you can also, I thought there was one other place. You can follow me on Facebook at Brittney Bundles too for different podcast episodes to be uploaded and promoted there too. But I do want to thank you all for tuning in. If you'd like to send me an email and don't want to comment, I completely understand that too. You can send me an email to the letter B as in Brittney, talks, TALKS, at yahoo.com. I enjoyed creating this podcast today. I hope you all enjoyed tuning in. And until next time, I'll talk to you all in the next podcast episode.